Yeah, no, I guess it didn't used to be that. Like, it used to be like just an alternate kind of like Instagram thing, but then it became that. It became, OnlyFans became a nudity thing, and now it's been that for a long time.
I think that's like the internet. You know what I mean? It's like Snapchat came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Snapchat came out, and it's like, oh, okay, this is the thing you send dick pics with.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because
and all of a sudden they're using it for business meetings.
Yeah, I know.
Why do I care about paying Scott for pictures of him camping? But if all of a sudden he's naked camping, maybe there's someone who wants to see
Maybe
that.
there's some money involved.
Right.
I always question the name of the platform, though.
OnlyFans.
It's like, wait, was there a different program before where people would just troll
some other
the models
things that are
the whole
not
time
my
and just
understanding
shit all
of
over them?
OnlyFans was like, so you would have an Instagram feed, and it would be like the stuff everyone could see, but then you'd have candid stuff that you'd put on your OnlyFans, right? It would be like you having a coffee in the morning. It would be more intimate pictures, or that's how it started.
I should start that.
And it was almost like
just me having coffee.
Yeah, like,
do you want to have a coffee with me in the morning?
Your biggest fans would go there because they'd want to support you more, right? But then it became, how can I make more money at this?
So that's like, it's Patreon, but
Yeah.
for nudity.
Content creators of any kind originally, but then it became nudity.
Patreon
Really?
for visual content creators, it sounds like.
Sure, but I mean, Patreon does that too.
But for a different kind of media.
It's a thing like the market will bear what the market will bear.
Yeah.
Right? So like it became nudity for some people, and then other people went, oh, they're making money off nudes. I'm going to do that too. And then before long, that's what the whole platform turned into.
Right.
And so then it's like hard to see it for any other reason. And when you do, it's like, I'm not paying you for pictures of your dog. Where's your penis? You know what I mean? Like, that's what it turned into.
That's the world we live in.
And now, as I understand it, OnlyFans is trying to get rid of that. Like, they're
Yeah,
like,
good luck with
we
that.
don't want to be that place.
Wait,
Yeah.
what? Really?
Yeah, they don't want to be that place.
No.
So now they're starting to limit what.
No dogs?
What are we talking about?
Right? No. Now they don't
Just
want to
can't
be.
have dogs on
they don't
here.
want to be like adult content.
Crazy.
They want to get out of that. And it's like, well,
Yeah, just shoot that gift horse right in the mouth.
yeah,
What are we
here's
talking
the
about?
thing,
That's
guys.
all the money.
Yeah.
Or I bet they're just making... I bet they're going to like put forward some small legal battle to make it seem as though they're fighting the current swell of adult content just to seem a little more virtuous,
they're
even
doing-
though the money is money. Let's
They're
roll,
doing a
boys.
similar thing to what Patreon did, where
Right.
they're going to alienate their user base, and then that user base isn't going to stop existing. It's going to
No,
go
they're
to
just
someone
going to
else.
move somewhere else, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to make our own social media platform for adult content.
Ah, man, I feel like there's enough of those out there.
There's only going to be more.
We'll call it Porn Chub.
I think that probably exists already.
bet it
Probably,
does, yeah.
Well, it's amazing how many like porn hubs there are.
Oh, man.
Like, there's so many like little ones where you're like, they all have almost the same videos too, and you're like, what the? Why are there so many of these?
Because you make a little bit of money.
How do those
They're
make
making lots of money.
Advertisements.
Yeah.
All around. Like
Oh,
any
yeah.
of those bordered advertisements that no one looks at. And like, you know, all those things, like that's how they're making money.
Yeah, I gotta say, if your ads are on porn, you got a really bad shot at selling your product because like people are so narrow, they're
Distracted.
so focused when they're there, right? Like it's not like you're like meandering. Most people are,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, like when you're on Amazon shopping for stupid shit, it's like,
yeah.
well, maybe.
Or
Here's
like
some more
when you go to
stupid shit.
Walmart,
Yeah.
there's like aisles all around you of candy, right?
Yep.
It's easy to get you there, but on a place like Pornhub, I don't think so.
There's no candy.
Yeah, there's no candy.
It's just scary.
I mean, there probably is candy.
Oh, there's more than likely candy.
Yeah.
As I say it, I'm like, well, there's probably
Heck,
candy.
Who am I disclosing
We should
the
do some more
candy lovers?
research on
I don't wanna research
the
this.
marketplace that is clickbait and click revenue, right? Because so much of this is just trying to divert traffic here and there, and there is money to be made just in directing people and convincing them to spend their time here.
Yeah,
It's
of course.
it's the same as like Pepsi versus fighting Coke for stomach share. Have you heard about stomach share before? How
I
larger
completely
company.
understand what you mean.
Yeah, like I'm talking
I've
like
never heard that term, but I can already tell where you're going.
Yeah, exactly. So there's only like so many packaged food companies globally. Like all of the brands that you know of prepackaged food fall under like 3 umbrellas.
Yeah.
That are owned by 3 giant conglomerates, and they're actually fighting to take up as much of your stomach as they can, not just so that they'll sell you more product, but to actually cut the other guy out.
Well,
and
once
the
you're
internet's
full, you stop drinking and eating things.
That's right.
They
Well, that
wanna
was the
be there
Starbucks
first.
model, right?
Yeah.
Starbucks wanted to put so many coffee shops that could operate at a loss because they had enough revenue.
Yeah.
That they just wanted to kill the other coffee chains.
And that's also why Starbucks offers food.
Yeah.
Right? They don't do that because their food is amazing. They
Yeah.
do that because if they can get you to eat and drink there, you're not going anywhere else.
Exactly.
And that will screw another guy over, and maybe now he doesn't butter his bread tomorrow,
Yeah.
and now you have no competition.
I just find it very interesting that guy was just real open about what he was doing.
Yeah.
Usually
And it
they're
was
not.
like, no, they're usually really not. It's always like behind closed
Which
doors.
I think is actually the worst part. Like
In
I'm
secret?
all about competition and doing what you have to do to win the day.
Mm-hmm.
But when they're denying it, that
That's
makes
right.
it criminal to me. Where it's like, oh no, we're not doing anything bad here. Yeah, of course you are. You all are. You're all sharks. There's blood in the water, and you're trying to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just be upfront about it.
Meanwhile,
How
that
about-
corporation's going, yeah, this is our business plan. It's business. We're going to fuck a little guy. Here we go. We're past
Pretty
5
well.
minutes, right?
Yeah, it's
Well, it doesn't matter at this point anyway. I
Fair.
can't even imagine our podcast being affected by that
No.
more than it already is anyway.
Yes.
So I just think the people who are watching are going to search our podcast, whether it's on their homepage or not.
Yes, more than
Right.
likely.
Fair.
Honestly, the people who watch are pretty reliable. The people who don't, I don't know if they're ever gonna. So I'm not worried about stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not even being sad about it. It's just a fact. There are certain people who are always going to watch no matter what we say, it seems
Yeah.
like. So I'm not screaming about we should be more vile in the first 5 minutes. But I'm
Well.
not too pressed about it.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, stomach share makes sense to me.
I remember that, like, I don't know, I want to take it religiously, but like,
Ooh.
I just remember hearing, like, because I hate that corporate structured language. I remember hearing in mega churches people getting referred to as giving units.
Giving units.
Yeah, because it was like,
It makes
That's
sense.
concerning.
well, see, what the reason they did that is because they just couldn't count people. Because individual people might not give, but if you're a family, that's
Yeah.
one giving unit.
Oh.
Right, so
Well,
if
they
you're-
can farm that,
Yeah.
right?
And then you can understand how many giving units you have and how much money you can expect, and you can
Well,
budget.
I gotta tell you, I
Oh.
think of people that way to some degree on like social media. Like you can't help but group things like that, like where it's like this post will reach X amount of people,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you can't even look at the individual once it gets to a certain level.
Yeah, certain metrics we just all of
Right.
a sudden lose humanity.
And I don't know if it's as dehumanizing as people make it sound sometimes, because it's like, how am I going to count each person with their name? Right? There has to be some unit of measurement at some point.
I only see one solution. Get on Patreon and start harvesting some giving units.
Yeah, fair
Here
enough.
we go.
There was
Harness their stomach share,
Get
buddy.
that stomach share of those giving units.
there was a podcast we did, I don't even know, maybe 35, 36. It was quite a while ago. We were talking about like, I don't want people to spend more time on social media. I want them to see me when they do spend time
I know,
on
right?
social media, right?
It's weird.
I want to be one of the faces that they see.
That's right.
I'm not asking them to scroll for 20 hours so that they finally see me. I want to be in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is what happened with your tattoo the other day,
That's
by
right.
the way. Normally, what happens with your posts is I've actually had to go to your page to like them before because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't show up in my feed.
Crazy.
That one showed up. It was the first thing I see when I opened my phone.
Nice.
That doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
Like it's stupid that they make it that way where it's like, oh, this post is
It's like,
lame. No
we,
one wants
we,
to see
we
this.
hang out every week, but they won't
Yeah,
show you my
you would
pictures.
think that
Yeah,
we would see
yeah.
each other's shit all the time, right?
Right.
Like you would think that, but I don't always see your stuff. Like I went to your page one day and I was like, oh shit, he's posted twice and I haven't even seen it. And that's not because I'm not active. I'm active.
Yeah, yeah.
I swear, I'm active.
I should see everything you post.
If I haven't seen your shit, it's because I'm not active.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
no, I know, but we're different people.
Exactly,
right?
yeah,
so
yeah.
I should see all.
I
of
mean,
your
I appreciate your
posts.
diligence.
especially if
It's very
I,
respectable.
especially if I have been liking them.
Yeah.
And I've even commented on them at times. I should see your posts, but Instagram goes, "Oh, no one wants to see this.
Yeah.
It's not interesting."
Yeah.
They make the choice for you.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Well, you're telling me.
It's
I'm
really
the guy getting
annoying.
40 likes a tattoo.
And then that one got almost 300.
That's right.
Yeah. I just looked at it this morning, so I'd
Yeah.
have my number right.
Well, even when I saw it on the Rocky page analytics, it gave this little thing of like, this post is performing 95% better than your other ones. So I was like,
Oh, I see those.
but
all
that's
the
one of those
time,
like
but
when it's a striking image. This is where I've been.
they're prompting you to promote it.
Yeah, oh for
That's
sure.
what they're doing with it.
But like, I still am of the mindset that like if you can create the most striking image that you can create, that's the only way you're going to get engagement.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I know
if
it.
if that image in any way doesn't catch your eye, in any way, people scroll past.
People are quickly, easily bored. They won't
Yeah.
even notice it.
Yeah.
They'll just be like,
Meanwhile,
people do.
yeah.
Oh, that one was shiny. And then they back up.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my goal is to produce the most consistent, similar styled tattoos
Sure.
from day to day, which is not snagging any algorithm.
No,
It's
that's
like
it'll-
Well,
Yeah.
it's doing the opposite. It's losing the algorithm.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
Right.
not. You're not worried about snagging it. You're worried about keeping what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Because just doing a black and gray tattoo every day for the next 90 years, you'll be lucky to get 10 likes by the end of that eventually.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like it'll just trickle down to a
Yeah.
point where no one is seeing anything anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and it forces you to almost be like, I love this tattoo, but it's not going to do well.
No. So why am I wasting my time posting the darn thing?
And that's frustrating because
Yeah.
you should be able to post
Yeah.
quality
well,
work.
okay. So the reason that you post it is because then when somebody new is inquiring and they go to your page and they look and they scroll through and they see
They see
that
your
you've done
body
9
work.
million of these things.
Yeah, see, as a
and they
tattoo
go,
artist,
oh,
it is
thank
your-
God, this guy does so much of this stuff. This is what I'm going to get
Yeah.
from him. Like it's
It is
your
a
portfolio,
catalog-
right?
It's a necessary catalog of work.
Yeah, and that's one of the realities for when it's business.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you need this. It serves two purposes. It's now that book that's out front that used to be of like
Yeah.
terrible, shitty Polaroids of terrible
Yep.
tattoos.
Hey, I've
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
some of those binders. Don't diss them.
Hey man, I just remember sitting in.
They were
like,
everywhere.
Oh,
I gave one
and you're
to
just
Abby,
looking at the photo,
and
being like,
she loved
I think
it.
that's good. I think that's
My
good.
favorite was the piercer I went to, Shane, that was in this city for a long time. He had like
Blurry
six-
photos of.
He had 6 piercing books, and 3 of them were all below the belt.
Yeah,
and they
oh,
were all
wow.
terrible
Jesus.
pictures, and they were all quite gross.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
That sounds terrible.
But you knew you were in good hands.
Red inflamed cocks and clits.
Yeah,
Sweet.
as far as the eye could see.
The title of this podcast, right
All
there.
I could think
Cocks
was
and
like,
clits, buddy.
"Oh wow, this guy could pierce anything."
So I actually found one of the old binders of like printed out tattoos, and it's one I'd spent a bunch of time working on. They had like borders and shit, and like
Yeah.
a little watermark and everything. And I found it, I was like, there's no use I could ever have for this again. So I turned to the 6-year-old Abby, Rowan's girl. I'm like, hey, this is for you. She's like, oh my god, I love it.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
then I'll have like friends over, and she'll see a tattoo in a friend and be like, that tattoo is in my book.
That's so
Anyway.
cute. That's so great.
It's an interesting side.
So so Instagram's way better than that stupid old book.
A little bit, yeah.
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 But I'm still looking for like what's next. Because
Yeah,
like this thing
Man,
is just
I-
not going the
but
way that I
I'm
would.
really wishing that something. I wouldn't even care about starting over because people are always talking like in this community are always like, oh, when it starts over, I'm gonna get in there because
but
I'm
it's-
not big now.
when
I
it's-
can get
when
big.
it starts over, it's gonna.
It's gonna seem stupid.
People like me aren't gonna get in
Yeah.
until it's too late anyway.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Well, that's
TikTok could have been the
that's
next.
why you have me here.
That's right. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
you to tell me when it's time.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that said, you're already a million whatever on TikTok, and I'm
Yeah.
like not even close to considering going on there.
See,
You know?
I don't care about starting over.
Not even
because
close to
I have-
considering.
I started a small backup account, and I'm not pushing it at all. It's just doing its own thing.
Yeah.
And I'm still getting like 500 likes a post with less than 500 followers on
Yeah.
my Instagram. Mm-hmm. Just a small account. It's all just people who are finding me through hashtags I'm using, and they're like, "Oh, Remy has another account." I'm purposely not pushing it because I don't want to influence it that way. I'm just interested in seeing how well it does on its own, and it's fucking crushing.
Yeah.
Like, it's doing unbelievably well because I have no fat on the hog. I don't want those fair weather guys that I've attracted on my big account, because when you get a bunch of dead followers, you get a lot of people who aren't active all the time. You get a lot of people who don't really like you much. They're just following a big page, right? So on my little account, it's just people who really like it.
Yeah.
And so it's getting these insane numbers. Like, I had a post got like 840 likes last week. It's just a picture of my hand. It was seen by 22,000 accounts.
Holy shit.
And it only has 450 followers. That
What
page.
is happening here? That makes no sense to me.
It's because it's got such a great home support. Like,
No
everyone
kidding.
that's following me is liking it so much that it pushes it out farther, right?
Well, it's kind of like,
Jeez.
I mean, obviously not to the same degree, but when we do the Remy reacts or whatever to the viewer tattoos, like, the amount of people that are commenting on it and are invested in it is pretty high, even though the numbers are fairly low.
Yeah.
It's just like, if you look at other videos, the ratio is usually a lot smaller in terms of comment to view.
Yeah.
Whereas ours is considerably higher percentage wise. And I think it's just like, we just have people that like it.
When people like things a lot and they're faithful to it, it generally seems to send a message to an algorithm like, hey, push this out. People are liking this.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, that smaller account is, every post I've done on it is way better than it has any right to be. And I know that if that account gets too big, that will go down again. Like, it'll even out, because then you'll start getting more inactives and more fat on the hog. It won't be that lean, mean killing machine where it's like, it's just here to fuck. Like, that's it. And I don't care if it does well either. Like, I don't even care. I have no concern how a post does.
This hog that you're describing is awesome.
Right?
it's fast and it's
this
all
Where
hog
on my main
is shredded.
page, like, if I post
tanned.
something, I want it to work. I'm hoping that it gets to
big
explore.
sunglasses.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah,
white-
this is
white
just
sunglasses.
a shit posting ground, and
Yeah.
I'm just posting old stuff and random shit and pictures of me with the dogs, and people
So-
are. It's almost like an OnlyFans feed where it's just the main people that really, really like that stuff.
A, I didn't know you have dogs. B,
I do. Yep. 2.
When you say you don't promote this one, what do you do differently in the other one that does, push it forward?
Well, so what I mean by that is I'm not screaming about it on my main page. Like, I would, if I
Right.
wanted it to grow, I could
you
grow
just
it.
link to it over and over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could. It could be much bigger than it is right
That's
now.
right. You'd be sharing some posts from
Yeah.
it. You'd be doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it would be all over my main page. Like, check me out here. Check this thing out. This thing. This thing.
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
thing. Like what we've done with the YouTube, or even Sarah's page is like 6,000 followers.
Shit, crazy.
Like, just residually, because I'm always shouting her out. She's always featured, and
Yeah.
I'm not doing that with this little page. I'm not going to do any of that. It's just going to exist on, and I don't even know how often I'll post on it. It'll be like whenever I want to, and that kind of feels fine, right? Like, with where Remy, my main page, is very regimented. It's like I do 5 posts a week. I take Mondays and I take Saturdays off every week. I post at the same times every day. Like, I never deviate from that.
Wow.
I have a very set routine.
No kidding.
It has to be fed at these times or else, right? I graph my like, I'm always paying attention to my gains and
Do you have a
losses.
scheduler that works for you?
No.
Crap.
No, I have drafts made up, but I don't use scheduling.
See, I don't know how to use the drafts thing well. Can you have multiple drafts saved?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta learn some shit from you, buddy.
Okay,
I gotta
so
learn some stuff.
here's my thing though. Like, I thought, I don't understand why, because that's inorganic behavior in my opinion.
of course.
right? So that's
no kidding.
It doesn't feel organic or good.
Yeah.
He just explained how it's a regimen and a routine.
And I don't particularly like the idea that social media, this organism that we're supposed to be able to interact with,
No one
is
who's
inorganic.
creating likes that.
yeah,
Then
I'm
what the-
so, this is
then
what makes
what
me
the
hate
hell?
it so much.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why?
Because the more you're a slave to it, the more it's stoked
Yeah.
that you're a slave to it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if you're going to put together an algorithm, the algorithm should be based on promoting organic engagement and things like that. No?
It needs to get used to what makes sense for you. This is another thing we've talked about before, but so here's a great way of explaining it. Anytime I do a crazy post, I can get up to 3,000 shares, 6,000 saves, and a boatload of comments, right? So that's an average post for me sometimes, where someone else's average might be a lot less. So just because I'm getting that average all the time doesn't mean Instagram wants me to be on Explore every day. So they get used to how many saves and shares you're doing and adjust things accordingly. That's why TikTok is so much better in that regard, because TikTok doesn't interfere. They're just like, this is trending because it's trending. Instagram goes, we don't want Remy on Explore every day. People will get sick of that. So just because he's trending doesn't mean we're going to let him trend. So like they'll just go, he always gets 3,000 shares. Now he needs to get 10,000 or else it's not special. So if I got 3,000 5 days in a row, how exciting is it that I got 3,000 shares that sixth day? It doesn't seem like a better post. Whereas if you have another content creator that's always getting 50 and then they get 100, it feels like this is a momentous post, like what happened with your post the other day, right? That probably got, I would say, 5 to 10 times the interactivity in the first hour.
For sure.
So then it goes, this is a special post. We're going to carry it farther. If I got the amount of interactivity that you got on that post in the first hour, it would be dead in the water. This is why Instagram has to, right?
Like if you got 100 likes and 4 shares.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a big deal for me.
Your boat would sink.
Exactly. So that's why there's this algorithm that decides your pace, your it gets used to what your numbers look like, and then it goes, but for Remy this is no good. But for Scott, if Scott got 3,000 shares and 3,000 saves in that first day, that post is going to be on Explore for like a week.
Yeah.
Like it's different numbers for different people, right? So if you have no posting consistency, if Scott doesn't post enough for the algorithm to understand that it doesn't know what to do with you. It doesn't know who to show you to or where to put it.
Ugh.
It's a computer. It can't be a human being. Like, you want it to be organic. It can't be that flexible yet.
But I just thought that, like, the organic part was the social. And the thing is, they put this inorganic thing to moderate
monstrously indifferent to us.
Yeah, it is this I don't know, this barrier of like, oh, I'm going to allow these things, and it does it in such an inorganic way,
and it forces people into doing things that they wouldn't do normally.
Yeah,
like that are unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, that's the thing.
The
It's
algorithm
an
wants
unnatural.
compliance.
Yeah,
It's an unnatural force, and it's creating unnatural result.
yeah.
Well, so I have a pretty strong theory about this. So right now, if you want to get someone to manage your Instagram for you, $1,000 a month, $500 if you want some real basic package. Now, that is not money that's going to Instagram, but as people invest more and more of their real hard-earned dollars into their platform, it's harder and harder to peel them away from that platform, right? Like if suppose Lethbridge Toyota has been investing $2,000 a month into their Instagram presence.
Escalation of commitment, I think, is what we're talking about
Yeah,
here, right?
exactly. It's there's a different term for it too. Basically, it's an effort ratio. The more effort you put into something, the more
You've invested.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've put this much in. I can't leave now. And then Instagram can just shut
in
your
poker, the
account
term
down,
is
too.
pot committed.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
enough of your chip stack is in the center that you have to see this hand through. You have to try another bluff. You have to wait to see the flop, the river, whatever. You've gotta see it, because if you lose this hand, you are down to such a weak position. So the more Instagram encourages that behavior, the more it makes it a pain in the ass for people on the user end like us who still need it for work. The more of us that are paying for that service, the more invested we are, the less likely we are to just jump ships and say, oh yeah, TikTok's a new thing, I'm going to close my Instagram. No, you spent $33,000 on Instagram in the last 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Instagram needs to take a step back and realize that they're not TikTok too, because right now they've got this huge focus on video content when most people have been using it for pictures forever.
Yeah.
And they really don't want to be a picture platform anymore.
Well, it seems like they would have hit their peak if they stay at that, right?
Yeah, just do pictures.
The unlimited, but the unlimited growth model doesn't support continuing to offer the same service
I
forever.
understand.
Right?
I know why they're doing what they're doing, but
I think it's just because they can have those sponsorship videos, like sponsored ads. Because that's really where they get
Once you
money
get
from,
video
right?
ads, you're killing it.
Yeah, because like a picture ad, a sponsored picture ad, that'll
well, they
net you
tried to go
one
to
thing,
war with
but
YouTube for a minute.
Yeah.
That didn't work. So now they're like, we'll go to war with TikTok.
yeah.
Right? That's been the last year.
Well, that's the thing. They're constantly trying to compete against platforms that do other things.
Yeah.
Rather than leading into what
They
they
don't
do.
understand that people actually want a platform for images. Like we've wanted one
Right.
for a long, long time.
Well, that was the thing with like Facebook was really annoying because it was like,
Too much information.
yeah, and this
And
like
useless
this weird
information.
like kind of mixture of videos and photos and then
like
just
Walmart
random
social media. It's
random
Swiss Army
Twittery
knife.
kind of like
Yeah.
storybook
Yeah.
posts.
It's like I'm reading about this dog. I'm seeing that tattoo. This car is for
It's not
sale.
specialized
Yeah.
enough.
This person got a new house. The Fords are on sale right now.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
It makes no that. I always thought it was a very cluttered kind of platform. It was just trying to be all things for all people.
Yeah, Walmart of social media.
Which
Yeah.
is why
McDonald's.
it is the Empire State Building of social media,
Yeah, but like, okay,
I don't know if it is anymore.
or the World Trade Centers of
I
social
just
media.
don't understand who's using it. Like,
I know who's using it. People my mom's age.
Sure.
That's it.
Dude, I went on there the other day,
It aged out.
and there have been clients fucking posting their tattoos and tagging me on Facebook.
Yeah, of course there
I'm
are.
like, what the fuck?
I just don't think of it. I don't think
No.
that people actually are on there.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get these things every once in a while. Like, even like, my friends will be like, "Oh yeah, I sent it to you through Messenger." And I'm like, "Who uses this?
Oh,
I didn't
Me-
even know that I still have
Oh,
one."
I still use Messenger constantly.
I use Messenger, but
yeah, constantly.
And am I just old?
no, it's not. It's not that.
or
It's-
not old enough?
I
think.
don't use. I
don't
don't
know.
use Facebook, but Messenger I find.
Oh, Messenger is an everyday essential for
yeah.
me.
Well, especially if you haven't. When I had an Android, it was really good because you had chat heads. So you
What's
could-
wrong with texting?
I hate chat heads.
Why?
Oh, Messenger.
Why? I don't get it. I don't get why we have like 9 different platforms to do the same fucking thing.
I have 9 different group chats.
Okay,
at
but
any
you can do
given
a
time.
group
Well,
chat
yeah.
through your cell phone.
I do have one. Group
Not
chat.
well.
I don't understand it.
Oh yeah, we have a text group chat. Look at us go.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
We all have iPhones.
I think
It's
you
easier that way.
initiated that.
Yes. Because it's simple. Like I don't want to have 9 different apps that all have like, oh, and this thing I've got through here, and this thing I've
You're
got.
telling me my buddy the other day was like, "We gotta get off Messenger. We should go to WhatsApp." I'm like, "I'm not adding
No.
another."
I had WhatsApp for a little while. It's fucking.
But I'll tell you what's wrong with texting is that my friends in Germany can't just text me, or California.
If
or
they have
wherever.
iPhones, they can.
Yeah,
I'm-
but not everyone has.
We're not
iPhone.
trading phone numbers. I'm not getting them to send me their new cell phone number when they need a new cell phone, right? Like
A lot of people they'll say text me, and what they mean is Messenger too.
yeah.
So like, Lee would be like, "I'm gonna text you later," and then he'd message me on Messenger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's the same thing for some people. It doesn't have much
And
of a difference.
I can send a client pictures of their tattoo without
I'll
giving
tell
them
you
my
what-
phone number.
I'll tell you what's strange.
But what's
though.
the difference?
I'll tell you what's strange is
They
when you're
can
having a
they can have
conversation-
access to you.
when you're having a conversation.
Yeah, but
with-
my Messenger just gets buried. I don't care.
So I got one. So me and Lee, we'll have a conversation going on through text and Messenger at the same time, and it's sometimes
Oh, Lee's
hard
the best
to
for
understand.
this. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's like, wait, what are we talking about? And then he'll send me an Instagram message the next day.
Oh, dude, for a
I'm
while,
like,
I was messaging
what are we
Jamie
even on
on
about?
Messenger too, because it's a better way to send pictures. So I had both of them on like 3 different platforms, and it's just crazy.
I was talking to Lee about the same thing on 3 different messages.
You're describing the problem I have with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
I have
and
the
you're
same-
all like, yeah, but this is exactly what I do.
because
Yeah,
I never
it's
found a
good.
better
This is
solution.
stupid.
Good. I'll just go to the other app and check out what we were
Like,
talking about.
This is so dumb.
Instagram
Like, oh.
shit is for work. Text is for talking to people who like live in Uthbridge, and Messenger is for talking to groups of people and
yes,
people
text
further
is
away.
for my closest associates.
Yeah, I only want to text like 20 people, preferably.
And my Instagram is like,
Why?
I don't like talking to anyone. on
What is
Instagram.
the fucking difference?
Because it's a priority thing. I want to deal with my work crap. I go on Instagram. I want to deal
So-
with my in
what
more
Scott's
important
saying is
personal
like
life.
a tiered communication.
Exactly.
You have to breach a certain
You
level
gotta
of
earn
trust
your way to
get
it.
up to
Right.
levels.
Other apps.
Yeah, I like it. It makes it.
I don't like it. This all hurts me logically. It hurts me
You know
really
what-
bad.
You know what I can't understand is there are people who email each other. It's like, do you get the email I sent you? It's like, no.
My dad sent me an email like 6 weeks ago. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I feel
That's a
it-
mode that never
No,
really happened.
it's
No.
better than that. He sent me an email with a little text blurb about hope you're doing well, whatever. I wrote you a letter with a fucking text document attached.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
I was so stoked.
that's really really weird.
There's going to be a package coming.
This is driving me
carrier
nuts,
pigeon
isn't
here
it?
soon.
Yeah.
Just in the next 2 to 3 months, that pigeon should find its way to you.
Yeah,
Or the
it's
general
a note
city.
detailing the note that's on its way.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And don't text me.
Yeah, I feel like every mode of communication has like an expected response time associated with it, and that's probably why I don't like any of those other
Well-
platforms because it's like I don't have notifications turned on
Yeah.
on anything, like, and because like when I watched that documentary,
Social dilemma.
that one,
Yeah.
that was like the first thing they said. It was like you need to turn all of your notifications off.
Yeah, I don't have any notifications.
And it was like, okay, well, now
I still get
immediately I don't
notifications for
have that.
messages. I need my messages, but that's it.
Yeah, I'll get text messages because that is what it is, I guess.
Oh, no,
but
text DMs.
yeah, I don't do DMs.
I don't do DMs.
I don't do
if
any
I
of
did
that.
DMs, I'd never sleep.
yeah, he'd
Right, yeah.
His phone would explode.
Well, there's times when I get out of work and there's like 40 requests if I haven't cleared anything all day, and it's like there's no way I'm going through all of these.
No.
So, no.
Might as well
I'm
just
not-
burn this
You
burn this
you
mother
you
down.
press delete all?
Depends. Sometimes I'll
How good does it
scan
feel
them.
sometimes? And you're like, I'm responding,
Well, what I'll do
checking,
is I'll like
checking.
scan
delete
them
all.
and I'll see like, is this a legitimate question? Does someone really need help? Is this
Yeah.
person offering me money? Like, and then like quickly back out because I get a lot of people are like, can you send me a video? Hello, like just junk.
Oh,
There's a
dude, you
lot
should
of
totally
junk.
go on Cameo.
Oh no, it's fucking terrible. There's so much junk in my DMs that delete all button is always like at the forefront of my mind. But it's like
It's, like,
there might
glowing.
be one good one.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah, there might be something useful in there, or there might be someone who really, really needs help with something severe. Like I've had people send me pictures of tattoos that are infected and stuff, and shit like that. And that's stuff that I actually care to help
Yeah, of course,
with.
yeah.
Like I'm sensitive to some things more than others.
Yeah, I think like the information based that we kind of curate is very important.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
It's like it's we talk about things that a lot of people don't.
Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people like this podcast. Like the people who do like it, I think, is because we talk about things that nowhere else. Like other tattoo shows are terrible. They're terrible.
There's one I haven't watched yet, but the name is incredible. The name of the podcast is How Much for a Sleeve.
Oh, that's
A
funny.
good, that's a good one.
That's
yeah,
really
and
funny.
I was like, I'm only jealous. Like I just wish that was the name of our podcast.
Yeah, no, I
How
think,
much for a sleeve is great.
But
That's
the
a
problem
great
is
name.
like a lot of the tattoo shows. It's almost like you're watching like infotainment. It's
Yeah.
like like an infomercial late night where everyone is like cozy and they're all drinking tea and coffee, right? But they're all talking about tattoos way too much,
Right.
And then they'll have a joke here or there, and
Yeah.
then they get right back into let's talk about tattoos again, and
Yeah.
and it's like.
Yeah. Whereas
this
with
is
us, you
not a
never know
real-
what we're gonna get you.
Well, it's not a real conversation.
Ours or there?
No, theirs. It doesn't sound like something you would hear in real life.
No, and that always pisses me off. I don't like conversations that sound scripted.
Yeah,
Like,
it
you get
feels like
those-
they're reading lines.
And there are those podcasts out there where it's
Which
like
is
it's scripted
weird.
podcasts. It's just I
That's-
hate it.
Freaking weird.
I know, and they
Well,
edit
and
it
there's
perfectly.
a few exceptions. Dan Carlin's Hardcore History is scripted. And
Oh yeah, well, how would you not though?
Exactly.
He's
But I'm
giving
just
you a
saying
10-hour
that's-
lecture on
I'm saying
something.
that's an exception.
Yeah.
Where he has taken a lot, like he's taken an entire network of information and then compiled it not just into the important bits, but also in a really incredible, dramatic, hitting way, and then delivers it cinematically.
Yep.
Like So
Well,
that's
that's
where
where-
scripted wins.
Podcast is a
Podcast is the wrong
broad
name for
envelope,
that
right?
at this
Like-
stage.
you got a broad envelope there.
Yeah.
I want to get back though to your tattoo that you did,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right? Because I wanted to talk about. We have a unique opportunity here because Rick's never on the podcast. True. Which is ironic because today he actually said something
I know,
on the podcast.
he said something.
I
That
don't
was
think you
wild.
realized it was going yet.
Oh, wow. We have Rick's voice on the podcast.
Yeah, just distant in the background.
Yeah.
Just... He's become this ominous figure that just kind of walks through every now and
I
then.
just love that, like, in the background. Is that porn site?
Yeah, and that might be the only thing he ever says.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a unique opportunity to talk about white on black with someone who's done it. So was it any different?
No.
Was it any different to apply? Like,
Okay,
Well, yeah.
So there's a few things. So seeing the stencil is obviously harder.
yeah,
But Rick will tell you that every time.
yeah,
If I wasn't doing white on black, I would have given that blackout another hit. Mm-hmm. Right? Because
oh yeah, I could see that.
yeah, the blackout on Buddy's arm is like 80% just already perfect.
I closed up on that arm. I was like, I want to see how.
That's
I could
right.
see a few spots, but that's it.
There's a little.
And,
but-
and we covered
That's
a lot
pretty
more.
good.
We covered a lot more ground the second time on Buddy's arm. So in his bicep, there's a whole area that's just going to be patchy. And we have a third session planned, but I wanted to get at least a light coat in there so that next time we can get in there and hammer it out. Yeah, and her back, since it was white on black, I like let it. It was just a harder area too. So that first blackout wasn't quite as like smooth as I wanted.
Did you do the blackout there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did the blackout there, and it was like not as smooth, but it's plenty black.
Yeah.
So it'll settle in over time, and the white on black will distract from any like less even parts. But it's still plenty black, and I think the white's gonna stay, but we're gonna see.
It looked pretty white.
Yeah.
Day ones are always weird.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
'cause when I got this done, it was like, it went so many different colors before it was over. Like, it was just like, what is happening to my hand? Like, it went like gray, and then it was like brown for a minute, then it was like a yellowy gray, then it was like, okay, now it's peeling, and it's all crunchy and black looking.
I like that there was that one point where you were like, it went away.
Yeah, it was, yeah,
gone.
all the design that he put, because he didn't pack it.
Yeah.
He did like some shading and some
That's right.
designs in there, and like everything was gone. It's like, what happened to this?
Well, that's where I started with hers. So for my first true white on black, because I put white over black before, but this is my first white on black tattoo. And it's just lines for now. So we're going to see how that heals. And then if she's into it, I'm going to do a little bit of stipple shading. Probably not in the flowers. Or not stipple, sorry, dot work shading. Probably not in the flowers, just in the honeycombs. Give them some, like, top to bottom to top. A few, like, gradients.
Right, because you've got that on the other. Their other
That's
ones. That's
right,
really
'cause the
good.
other
May as
ones-
well get as much experimenting out of
Yeah.
this piece as you can.
Exactly.
'Cause
Especially
you don't get too many chances to.
Especially if she comes back in the first set of white healed great.
Yeah.
Then it's a perfect opportunity to sell it on like, hey, in like an hour of work, I can take this thing to the next level again.
Yep. Did you do the entire thing?
Oh,
You did-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All of it.
And I'm really glad she stuck with me. Our first session on it, she had come in and said, "Oh, you didn't get my email?" When I showed her my drawing, and turns out like we had consulted, we made a whole plan, and she comes in the day of the tattoo and says, "Yeah, I didn't really like the peony ID anymore. I sent you an email. Did you get that?" And I was all in a huff. I couldn't even find the email.
Emails.
Yeah, right. So like I was kind of grumpy and shitty about it, whatever. But then we ended up drawing this fun bee thing for her right on the fly. Did the tattoo. In the end, we were both stoked about it. And then like this next time around, I sent her an email ahead of time, or I got Kevin too, ahead of time. Like, hey, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Make sure this is still our plan. Like I know I was grumpy last time. We're good. And yeah, she's stoked.
Yeah. But how long for the whole thing? Like every part
Probably
of it together?
3 hours on the first session,
Yeah.
5 hours this session. This was a
Yeah.
big session. And
Looked
then we've
extensive.
and then we're going to keep going. We're going to cover up. We're going to refresh and cover other parts down her arm as well. So in the end, it'll be a full-on.
It looked really good.
project.
You
I'm
do
excited
pretty
about it.
good, like neo-trad-y trad stuff.
Dude,
Yeah.
every time he does color,
Yeah,
like
like-
every time he does Neotrad color, I just go over there and like, fuck, you should
need
really
to
do
more
this.
of this
But
stuff.
it
Takes
takes
so much work.
takes a bit more prep time. Yeah,
For sure.
And I'm not as consistent in what I put out. Like I'm not great at sitting down and just drawing a subject from my imagination. So for me to produce stylized subjects, it's a more dynamic process.
Sarah and I have been talking about what she wants next, and she's like, I don't know who to go to in the city. And then she was like, I bet Scott
She should
could
get
do
a
it
she should
now.
get a pink out.
Well, she wants to get like she has her whole one arm free. She wants to make it a whole concept. She wants like a pumpkin patch thing with like background, like a lot of black. And I was like,
if you're building background, like that's what I want to do.
I told
know,
her,
right?
I was like, I bet you Scott would do it. She's like, but could Scott draw that like that neo-trad style that she wants? I was like,
yes.
I think he could do it. And not only do I think he could do it, I think that if you gave him a whole arm and you said you want to make this really cool, I think Scott would like level up almost for it. Like I just know you to the point where like you would step it up even.
You know my process. If I'm designing a sleeve for somebody,
you wouldn't want it to look bad.
I'm gonna go do the fucking homework.
Yeah.
But once I'm done,
some people wouldn't care though.
Once I'm done the homework,
it's wild.
Once the design is ready, once I'm done grumbling about drawing this fucking thing, I'll be stoked.
Yeah.
And we're putting it into tattooing. I'm 100% here for this, right?
Yeah, because that's
and
what
I've
I
watched
said to her.
myself in the process a million times doing that exact thing.
I'm like, some people will just be like, yeah, sure, we'll do whatever, fucking, we'll slap it on.
And they're
it'll be
just
fine.
stenciling pumpkins onto
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and then sharpieing a stem in between them.
So I'm not saying that's going to happen or that she's cut, but like she wants to do that eventually, and she's
tell her
always like, I don't know who to bring it to.
Well,
and
if she wants to consider doing work with me for it, don't tell her to make up her mind on it. Tell her to come consult, and we'll have a look at it, and then I'll be able to tell her if I'm a good choice for it or not.
Oh, for sure.
And then she can make her choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't decide on me
She's
before
just,
we have a chat about it, and I
she's
can
really
tell her. Yeah.
meek,
Yeah,
know?
that's right.
She's probably even going to be embarrassed. Yeah, why would you bring that up? Because, but I'm more forward than
Oh,
she
yeah,
is,
whatever.
You know? It's the way it is. I think it would look cool though. I think
Oh,
it'd
of
be
course
a
it
cool
would.
idea.
Yeah, it's badass.
And there's some good artists in town. She'll find somebody to do it right for sure.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like Blackground, obviously.
Don't ring the doorbell in the podcast.
Doorbell
Yep,
company.
I know.
Yeah, what's your next tattoo?
To do or to get?
Both. Let's start with what you're doing next.
What I'm doing next? Oh man. Well, I mean, like, hopefully, continue. Like, I have to finish off Trevor's leg, which is that.
The ongoing project.
Yeah. So, like, next, hopefully, it'll be finishing off that swamp monster thingy that we got going on in the back of his thigh, and then he's got the rose thing on the front of his thigh, and then we're gonna do smoke kind of to tie everything together.
I love about Trevor is like, as long as I've been getting tattooed, he's been getting tattooed.
Yeah.
Like I always, I'm working on Trevor. Like I've heard so many people say that.
Yep.
It's just like this ongoing tattoo journey that's seemingly not fully coming together ever.
No, it's
Like,
like
it's just
it has
all-
no end.
Yeah, like it's just kind of doing its thing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
it definitely
think
has
it'll
no
ever
end.
finish.
Well, no, I mean, but like we'll finish off this leg at some point in time, I guess.
It's a very different thing, though, to always go to the newer, slower artists.
Yeah,
And-
he's a consummate apprentice guy.
And
Yeah, oh, yeah.
sometimes twice a week, sometimes once every 3 months.
yeah, I know he's really
you know,
infrequent.
so it's kind of here, there. Sometimes 3-4 hour sessions. Sometimes 45 minutes. Oh, I'm good.
yeah.
So it's slow and or not even.
I
you're not
completely
even. I can't even say
understand
you're
where
slow
it
and
comes
steady,
from,
but
though.
fast and steady definitely wins the race in this case.
Because like I look at people like that and I completely understand. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, you're doing the same thing I'm doing. It's just not as regimented. Like I'm a very orderly person, but if I was more chaotic, it would be more like that.
Yeah, fair.
Like everything for me has to be like, I wear the same. Like I have to have button-up shirts when I get tattooed, always, because I want a comfy shirt when I get home. It's true.
What are we saying?
I
I'm
always
so
have,
confused.
Yeah,
I
what-
always
what?
have a button-up shirt when I
Yeah.
get tattooed, or something that I can unbutton. So like if I do like a wrap, like a body wrap, like the bandage that
Yeah.
Mark puts on,
Yeah.
I can easily take this off later and put something on over it.
The things you
Okay.
don't notice
Yeah.
if you don't get tattooed every day.
Well, and like
I have real like rituals about when I get tattooed.
Yeah.
The way that I operate.
I never noticed that.
I always have 3 hours in the afternoon to just relax after. And it's my favorite.
See, that's smart. That's
it's
super
my
smart.
favorite part of any week.
Huh.
It's like I look forward to that after tattoo glow.
And then, how do you normally spend that 3 hours?
Just laying in bed with the dogs are down at the bottom of the bed, but I'm just laying in bed, just existing. It's almost like a trance. Like
So
work,
you get to meditate for a minute. You're taking
I'm
some
doing
time.
things, but like I'm not doing anything productive.
Yeah.
I'm just
Cool.
sort of existing. And
I need to build some time like that into my
obviously,
week.
I
Yeah.
always have the same breakfast every day.
Yeah.
Every single day of my life, I have the same breakfast. I always fast for 12 hours every day. Like, I'm just really orderly. I can't imagine living in that kind of a chaotic way. Where you're like, oh, sometimes he gets tattooed once every 3 months. Sometimes it's 3 times a week. Sometimes it's 45 minutes. Sometimes it's this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the kind of guy who almost poops at the same time every day, you know?
Yeah. You're like clockwork.
Yeah, it has to be the same way every time. I can react to chaos. I just don't like to. I know some people who, if a wrench gets thrown in their plans, they're like, they can't handle it. But I'm not that bad. But I like to have things very scheduled.
You've built
Yeah,
a
it's
routine
reasonable.
So you can handle a wrench here and there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Same as my finances too.
Yeah.
My finances are wrench proof.
Well, I don't
People
know.
who live that close to the end scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
People are like, I
That's-
got like
I don't get it.
$500. It's like,
That's 60% of the population.
Yeah.
or less. Some people are living like where it's like, oh, my bank was overdrawn again. Again? What do you mean? You just made it sound like that happens all the
Yeah.
time.
Probably does happen all
If
the
that
time.
happens one time, you should now be adamant to not let it happen again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like you were talking about the algorithm getting used to what you are.
Yeah.
And like what your posts are and things like that. Then that's just you're coming to terms with the level of below zero, and that's now your new zero.
That's scary as hell. I have like overdraft protection, and I'm like, I'm never touching that.
I've never.
Well, it's
I've
once you
never
accept it,
researched
right?
Overdraft protection, because I've never even thought that'd be something in the realm of my concern.
Well, it's
You know?
it's just credit, right?
Yeah.
You're taking out a small line of credit to potentially use
But I would
for overdraft
never
protection.
even think
Because
about
like if you
going
get
there.
if you hit below zero, like and a bill gets taken out or something like that, you get dinged with a bunch of charges. Because like you get
There's NSF charges, like $40 here and there, right?
yeah, but it's usually from all ends.
Because I've hit NSFs before when like you write a check from the wrong account or you debit card the wrong account or some crap. Has happened before.
Yeah, so this would make it so that doesn't happen, and you pay a small amount extra on whatever your bank fees are in order to make that happen. That's all it overdraft.
Yeah, I've
protection
got
is.
like $1,000 overdraft protection.
Crazy.
So if anything went below zero, but it's not above 1,000 below zero,
Yeah.
then I'm safe from that charge. But I'm never going to have to worry about that because
No.
if I'm ever that close to zero, I may as well be dead as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, that's
Like, I
a
don't know
hard
when
stance
I'll
to
be-
take, but all right.
Well, no, because even during the lockdowns, I was like, I've got thousands of dollars in the bank, and I'm like, I'm still nervous.
The way I see it is if I'm ever at that point where I'm like scraping the bottom of that barrel, it's because there's either been some like crazy socioeconomic political event in our country, city, province, whatever,
need to be
that's
prepared
fucked
for that.
all of us.
Yeah.
Or there's some crazy major health crisis happening. Like
And
the
in
only,
which case, the government should step in, you would imagine, right?
or we're all fucked and we're all in the same boat. Doesn't matter
Exactly.
how much money you have, we're all fucked, right? Like if we're to the point where it's like, oh, I'm trying to buy rice with the last dollar in my overdraft account, that means it doesn't matter how much money you have, we're all fucked.
Yeah, some things have happened.
Yeah.
Grab a lead vest.
Well, I
Exactly.
work with some people
And
who
jump in a lake?
routinely get pay advances. And
Yeah.
it's just like, how are you living this way?
Yeah,
Yeah,
those-
I remember
those
watching a
cash
buddy of mine
stores.
drive into one of those cash for whatever places where
my
you cash your check ahead of time, and I was just like, so you get given a check that already has your taxes taken off, so you've already lost about 30%, and then you're gonna go take that into somewhere that's gonna take less than 5 days to clear for another 30%.
It's
30%?
insane.
30%.
It's absolutely preposterous to
No,
me.
you can just cash a check, can't you? Like if you go to a bank.
Most banks have so like if you have a history with someone
Yeah.
and a history of consistent pay and the checks clearing and things like that, sometimes they'll just push them through
Right.
faster. But usually what you end up having to do is the bank will cash it on their end, send it off to request the money from the other bank. The bank has to transfer it back over, in which case it'll clear for you. So in that time, that can be up to 5 days.
That's insane. Yeah, I never.
What's
wanna have
really
to find
insane
out.
is that we have technology now. Who is giving checks?
People who work
I
cash
haven't
in
had
hand,
a
buddy.
check given.
Well,
to
but
me
a
in
check is still a check.
over a decade.
That's not cash in hand. If you're going to give cash, okay. That's different, though. If you're giving checks...
but under the table, sorry, is what I meant.
But no, checks are still trackable.
Yeah.
You're paying to someone. All of that is... That's not under the table.
I've earned under the table checks.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure there's a way of it. But I'm just saying that, like, we have infrastructure set up so that doesn't happen.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like...
So we're going to the other shop. The closest place to buy smokes for the owner was the, like, cash stop or whatever on 2nd or 3rd. So I would...
That is cool. I just want to say, putting a cigarette vendor in at a cash shop.
ingenious.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
You know your market.
That's the thing is that not a
Do they have a
sharp-like
liquor
business
shop right
practice?
Yeah,
next to it, too?
for
across
sure.
the street,
Of course
directly
they
across
do.
the street.
Of course.
So I was going somewhere with this. Oh yeah, I felt embarrassed walking into that fucking place.
Yeah, I know.
Like I feel like this is a place that to be here as a customer, I feel like you must have less money sense and therefore less worldly sense.
Well,
in
and
this
I
world.
would think that anyone working there has typecast you the minute you walk in, too. Like,
course,
oh,
yeah.
look at this bum.
Yeah.
What
I
do you
remember
need
I had to
money
go in...
for?
I had to go in there with one of the... Like, to get euros at some point in time because banks didn't have... Like, some banks didn't have euros. So it's like, oh, they're just try one of those cash places.
Yeah.
It's like, you walk in there and you're like, what? I shouldn't be here.
No, I don't want to be
I just
here.
should not be here.
This isn't for me.
Yeah. Oh,
I haven't
this is
done
not
this.
for
But,
me. Okay.
So isn't it weird to consider yourself an open-minded person who doesn't believe in a caste system or a class system of any kind? Then you find yourself walking in there and going, I feel like this is a class below me. And
I
you're
don't
going,
know if
oh
it's a
shit, I have
class thing.
there's a thing happening there in your mind.
I don't know, man. Like, I just think it's not like, I don't think it's a class thing, but I think it's definitely not for me. Like, it's
Exactly.
like,
I mean,
it's like if I walk into Sephora,
I feel
it's like,
like-
well, this isn't for me.
I feel,
well,
yeah, same as
but
if I
part of
walk into
that for
Bed
me
Bath
is-
and Beyond.
Yeah, it's
I'm
like, oh, okay, I don't
need to
belong
be
here. This
I
is
don't-
cool.
The
I
better
don't need more
alternative
Everyone's looking at me
for
like I'm weird.
would be to run up a credit card than go to a cash store. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I'm not that guy. I'd rather do it. I wouldn't want to do it publicly. I'd rather suffer in silence.
Yeah. Actually, I have a art related, tattoo related story on this exact subject. I used to feel like going to Michael's. I go into Michael's and be like, ugh, what is all this weird girly
Yeah.
shit? And now
Now I feel good going.
I'm
in
at
there.
home in Michael's.
Yeah.
I know my way around and shit.
Yeah.
I know exactly where to like get some picture frames. I get some pencil sharpeners
in the
and
first
some
camp.
shit. Yeah.
I'm
Oh.
always a little awkward in Michael's.
Yeah,
Sarah
but-
likes going in, and I'm like,
But it takes a few.
Shit.
It takes a few tries of like really going in there and being like, no, I'm actually very fussy on exactly what brand of 6B pencil I get now. I'm in there like testing it on the test paper
Yeah.
and stuff, and like
I know.
these pencil cases are better because the zipper's more good. Like, watch
do you
me
talk
go.
with that voice too when you're in there?
Oh, of course.
Fancy.
I'm very fancy when I'm at Michael's
But seriously though,
in my Carhartts.
and I don't know why I'm so judgmental about pencils now.
Oh, I'm very.
They're so
Well, when
it's
you've
so
used
important
shitty
to have good
pencils.
pencils now.
Well, like never before in my life would I have considered spending hundreds of dollars in art supplies.
Yeah, that's
Well,
fair.
I would understand that because it's like for me, a pencil's a pencil.
Yeah.
But then it's like if you're going to be doing a lot of work with that pencil, all of a sudden it becomes
A
I
tool.
need my right
Or,
tool. right?
or in the
It has
case
to
of a
be-
6B, you're like, oh no, I'm going to use 6 of these in those 2 drawings.
Yeah.
So I want to get good ones that I'm going to enjoy working with through the life of 6 of them over the span of 4 days.
So, final thought about that tattoo that you did.
Oh yeah.
and how well it
We're still
did.
here, right?
Yeah, no, because I want to keep coming back to this.
I did not tattoo that in a Michael's.
No, not done in the Michaels, not done outside.
as much as we want to.
Yeah. Did it bother you that it did as well as it did?
Nah.
Because you just had other tattoos. that
I
you
needed a
put as
post.
much work into.
I needed a post to do frickin' something.
Yeah.
I'm at the point now where like I work so hard in this industry, and I'm actually getting more regular at posting, and I'm really like, I'm compared to my usual, I'm shaking and moving, and my Instagram's doing as poorly as ever, like just literally 40 like posts.
If
But what
you-
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Of course.
You're getting consistent work, doing the thing that you want. Who gives a shit?
Oh, what? The only give a shit here is that I must Instagram, and that takes effort.
yeah.
And
So
it's
you
not-
want that effort to be
I'd rather the
repaid
effort
there.
be rewarded a little more. Like I'm
Yeah.
giving hours of my real time and considering pay. Like when you give away a tattoo, It's just for Instagram's sake. So now I'm giving away a day of my labor to get a boost in some imaginary number that doesn't do anything. And the only way to improve this number is to do a giveaway. And I just resent it. I'm just resentful
I
of the
would
situation.
resent that entirely.
Yeah, I'm just resentful.
I hate giveaways.
Yeah.
Just what you're going to get from it isn't going to be what you want.
But I've got to
No.
do it again. I need another 300 followers, so I better do a giveaway.
I mean, I would never tell you not to do it, but those followers are going to be shit.
Well, that's the only way for me to get followers.
I
it
know.
seems. Yeah.
I'm just the giveaway thing is it's not great.
Yeah. But no, moral of the story is I want to do more cool things.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why, that's one of the reasons I'm interested in blackouts, white on black, black grounds.
That's what I was going to ask you next. Does this number that you got on that influence you into doing more of that
of course.
style?
Yeah. A, I'm already interested in it. B, well, one like hers takes a lot of homework. Like for her, I've got to do 2 different kinds of drawings and build it all together. But like the blackouts are nice because they're actually way less prep work.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Way less shit. Get right to it.
If there's one day a week where I'm doing blackouts and I don't have to sit at home drawing at night, I'm game. Let's do that. But
Yeah.
also, a bump on social media means more attention to my other stuff.
Yeah.
So those eyes are going, oh, look at this guy. He's great at solid black. Look at this blackout stuff. Oh, look, he also does this, this, and this. Man, he does this. Eagle's killer. I've been wanting an eagle for years. Maybe I'll actually go have a consult finally.
So how many different styles would you like to do on a routinely basis?
Just black and gray and
Just black and
blackout
gray?
and white on black and.
You like line floral every once in a while if it's paired with stuff.
I want the line floor to die in a hole. If I'm going to choose a secondary, like, real style that could be the one eventually, it'd be Neotrad.
Yeah.
Yeah, my heart's still kind of in Neotrad.
You like it yourself. You can
I love
see.
it. Yeah, I'm still getting
Yeah.
Neotrad pieces.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a huge fan. But it's a long road before I'm drawing at that level, right? Consistently.
You're just at the point now where you can do one now and then, but you don't want it every day.
That's right. It's
I
still-
think
it's
if
still
you
a
were
lot of
doing
work.
it every day right now, it'd probably be driving you nuts.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm hoping at some point in the future I'll be cutting down to 4 days a week, and that'll give me a little more drawing time. And then suddenly I'll start consulting more Neotrad and slowly work that in. And then once you're doing it more often, then you can. I learn quickly enough when it comes to what colors pair together, what actually mutes something in a desirable way, how things do work together. And once that's happening a couple times a month in my life, I'll make progress in the palette. And once the palette sorts itself out, then it's just a matter of getting my line work, like the actual drawing of the subjects, figured. And once those 2 things are handled, then the path forward gets a lot less full of bushes and branches.
I like what you say about 4 days a week, because if you're only working 4 days a week, just imagine having almost half your life free to some extent.
Well, that other day is 10 hours of drawing.
Fair,
right? So it's still, but still, having a real
not
weekend
going
again.
to place to make money is
Oh,
what
yes,
I mean.
yes.
Like, I've been on 6 days a week for the last almost a year now straight.
Yeah.
And, like, I can feel myself having less compassion.
Oh,
and
God,
not,
yeah.
not even just less compassion, but when I have time, I feel less interested in doing things I enjoy.
Oh yeah, I feel more the more busy I am with work and doing things, the more I can't relax and have to be productive all the time.
Yeah.
It's like it'll be 8:30. I'll be exhausted after a long day of work. After work, I'll come home, do dishes and housework, and catch up with the people in my life. And 8:30, I'm exhausted. I'm like, well, time to mow the lawn.
Yeah, it's
I went
just
grocery shopping at 9 p.m. on Monday
chores
night.
and
Like,
work and
yeah.
sleep.
But it's because you've got to a point of scarcity where you're like, no, I need groceries in the fridge. I know I'm not gonna have time tomorrow, or the next day, or the day after. So let's go fucking do it
Well,
now.
and, like, I'm at a point where I could go back to having a couple days off a week, but I still don't feel like I trust the terrain. I'm still in that mindset of, like, the enemy is at the gate. If I take the foot off the gas, God only knows what's going to be in here tomorrow.
Well, I'm still in the mindset of let's make as much money as I can this
Yeah.
week and next week and the week after, because after that there's gonna be a lockdown.
yeah, that's
Like
exactly
I'm still,
it.
even though I don't personally think there's gonna be another lockdown,
You
I know
can't
you guys
help but
do.
worry about it.
I can't help but feel that drive.
Yeah. Because, like, as much as I would love to have a vacation, it's like I might end up with one anyway.
Yeah. Forced.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to feel safe to do it again. I know whenever you start tattooing.
Mosey on.
Yeah. And I do this, I would be here, 5 days a week. I would probably keep one there for a little while, but I don't know how long.
It's going to change something because you're not going to feel like you have a job. It's a very different feeling. Like
I know. I don't know how I'm going to cope with that.
Yeah. Now when I talk to people and they're like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go to work," I'm like, "Man, I haven't had that feeling for a long time." Like, yes, I have to physically be at a place, but it's like it's not a job anymore.
Oh, it feels like I'm doing a job.
Once you're tattooing 6 days a week, you'll get that where you're like, I gotta go to work and perform today.
No, totally. And like I think anything could get to that place. Like when I was gigging, it was that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you're driving there being like, "Oh, I gotta go to work,
Go grind.
play in front of all these people." And like, but I mean, then I
Loses
think
the
it's just a
magic.
matter of like that's balance. Like when you're when you're doing something that you want to do, and then all of a sudden you're doing it too much. That's just you're out of balance, right?
Yeah.
That's why, like when I was saying, like you get into these stints where it's like, okay, now this is my 8th, 9th day in a row, and it's like, whoa,
And you
okay,
can see the smoke coming out of my ears.
yeah.
Like, you can see that I'm not keeping ahead of my home life shit. You can see that I need to go and see a tree in a mountain.
Yeah.
You can see that in my eyes.
I
Like,
know that feeling.
Yeah.
And like I know that like for a long time it's been like, okay, I got to bang out as many things as I can, but I think what eventually everyone will need to move to in an art form is producing the best work.
Yeah.
And producing the best work doesn't happen entirely based on I'm going to do this every fucking day.
But when you're new,
you
it
have
does.
to. Yeah.
That's the thing is when
but
you're
that's
when you're new,
experience, right? When you are
yeah.
experienced,
That's
that's
right.
different because you've done the 10,000 hours thing. So it's like when you get into that type of sphere and then all of a sudden you can let go of the idea of like, well, I need to gain experience in something. It's like now I have experience. I can use that experience in the correct direction to my benefit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can do that in all areas of things.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Yeah.
things that Lee and I talk about a lot, where it's like, you know, he has had to do the produce thing for so long that it's like now he's kind of at a place where the producing has happened and he needs to figure out how to put himself in a sphere that it's like, okay, I'm going to do one of these.
Is he gonna cut down to one a day?
I mean,
I think he could if he wanted.
Of
well, I
course he
mean,
could.
he could
He's got
easily
2
do that
shops. He's got several
Oh, yeah,
artists.
yeah.
Like
His
he
shops are no
doesn't
longer
have to be
relying
under
on
any
him.
Pressure.
now. No, that
There
shop
was a
is
time when he was under pressure.
yeah, of course.
Like
And he
whereas,
still
like, I
feels
need
that
to-
pressure,
I
but it's
know.
like when you actually do look at the books, then now it's like, okay, well, the pressure's off.
Yeah.
So what do I want to do?
yeah.
But
So-
he might be someone who feels the pressure to keep moving forward. He might be in that same boat we were just talking about where he's like, should I do another
Enemies at the
tattoo
gate.
or should I go put my feet up or go on the boat?
It's a
He'll like,
mindset.
I'll just go tattoo.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
a
it's
mindset.
production time.
Yeah, and like if you're wanting to and you have that drive, great. But if it's out of the famine mentality, I think that's
right.
that's not doable forever.
No, well, yeah, eventually you're felt empty. Like if you put too much of your time into any one thing, eventually you feel empty.
Yeah.
Like so many of us in our busy lifestyles look at an into the wild kind of mindset where it's like, yeah, I'm going to go live alone in the forest. But guess what? Give that a couple of months and you're
And
going to be
then
like, oh, man, I need some variety in my
I know a
life.
guy who
I miss
did it.
Walmart.
Yeah, yeah.
I know a guy who went out into the woods with his dog with just a bunch of jars of peanut butter and some other supplies.
This sounds
And-
weird.
What did you do with this
He
dog?
was out there
Yeah.
for 6 months, and when he came back, he was crazier than ever.
Oh, yeah.
I don't doubt that.
Like he
Not at
wasn't well hinged before, but he was pretty much mountain man, like feral,
Just a bunch of
wild
peanut
man.
butter.
Yeah, he kept talking about how he still had a few jars of peanut butter buried out there that he was going back for.
I watched
Yeah.
I watched
That's
a
so weird.
documentary
Yeah, he was
series
weird.
called Sasquatch surrounding some weed growing in the Mendocino Hills.
Yeah, yeah.
And in there, they kind of hit a few times on the lone growers just living up in their farm, setting booby traps for people to stay off of their farm.
Getting weird.
And yeah, getting super weird because they're all like meth heads and shit too, right? So they're out growing weed, which is super illegal at the time. Taking a bunch of hard drugs alone in the forest, setting lethal traps for law enforcement and thieves.
Having a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I always joke about like with how our culture is developing and how sensitive everyone is and how I can be quite bold. I would do better out on the high seas. Like, I would be better off on a pirate ship.
Pirate chair.
Just
I don't know. You've explained your routine a lot better than that. I don't think the sea
I
is gonna
know.
is gonna suit that
Yeah,
routine
that sounds
well.
exactly
problem,
the
right?
opposite of that.
That's
I
quite
don't
the
think I would
opposite.
do very well in that scenario either. I
Because
don't
that would
know.
be like, okay, what does the sky look like today? Let's see
Right.
what's going to happen.
Because the high seas are complete boredom and then complete life-threatening hectic shit.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, I don't know where is
On,
safe for me.
off, on, off.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't really feel like I like where we're going as a society necessarily. But at the same time, the alternative isn't better. I can't be out in the woods with jars of peanut butter.
I think you got to find a middle ground.
Walmart parking lot with jars of peanut butter.
There you go.
Good.
So that way, at least Walmart's within reach.
Right?
Refill your peanut
I
butter.
was thinking the Bay parking lot because they got that nice kind of
Well, then
Shaded area.
yeah.
You can
There
go
was
tan on
a-
the top.
I mean, it's a little late to bring this up, but there was a guy outside our parking lot yesterday with a wagon full of his belongings.
Yep.
And he was camped out on a patio chair.
have you
When
been
I
to-
pulled in, I was just like, oh, man, I don't want to do this today. So I go over to him, and I'm like, sir, we're open. You have to go. He doesn't respond to me. So I'm like, whatever, I have things to do. I come back out 5 minutes later. I'm like, I really need you to leave. We need the spot. And so he flips me off. So I
Oh,
go
wow.
in, and the server's like, is he still out there? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, I'm going to go tell him I'm calling the cops. So she goes out there and tells him that. He called her a rat cunt.
Wow.
Made a crazy gesture at her and a wild sound, and then he started pushing his wagon away. It took him like 10 minutes to get the thing down the road. But yeah, I've never heard that before.
I mean, you're probably like,
Have you
Maybe
been
it'll
in
catch
Stafford recently? Stafford North by like Atco there. Mm-hmm. So there's a new like encampment starting.
Oh, yeah.
Right next to Stafford.
Oh,
It's
goody.
there's an area where there's like an empty lot and the fence does this. And at first they're like filling up this little cubby of fence area with all the things, right? And then the other day it kind of turned into like a bicycle repair
Oh, yeah, I know
sprawling
what you
bicycle
mean.
repair shop. And then it seems they started like throwing their stuff over the fence and they made a hole in the fence or something. So now a bunch of their stuff is in the actual compound, kind of like I don't know. It's going great. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It starts
Yeah.
to look a bit like a rat's den.
Oh, it's all
Right,
kinds
like
of things
it's-
at once.
it's a tent
Yeah.
city kind of thing is going to happen, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
'Cause
I've been
it's-
hoping for it, but
I don't know if you're hoping for it. You bought a house.
oh, true. Yeah, not there.
I was
not
worried
there.
about like the value of a house dropping when that stuff starts to happen all
Well,
over the
there-
place.
Tell that to people in Venice Beach.
Have I told you about the crack house saga in my alley?
You have not.
Okay, so
I kind of feel like we should save that for next week.
The
Though.
crack
there's
house
there's 7
saga.
minutes. It's not
Sounds
it's not a
long.
long story.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
It's
how
a
big is this saga?
three-parter?
Here we are,
Is it a
ending episode
trilogy?
55
Is this some sort of
with
Fast
the
and
crack
Furious
house saga.
saga kind of thing?
No, it's
10
it's
movies?
way more wholesome.
Okay.
Oh,
So
wow. That's
so
something
three
nice.
houses down across the alley from me, there's this normal little house, 2-story, whatever, and in the backyard there's a small trailer that's been stoned to death and is a pile of rocks / trailer now, and then a big like fairly modern fifth wheel, and it's like pretty cracky back there. All the grass has been tramped into mud. There's kind of garbage everywhere. And at times, there's like garbage strewn into the streets. Like they'll overstack the
course.
garbage can. The garbage truck can't pick it up. It gets knocked over. There'll be piles of crap everywhere. But sometimes they try to clean it up. Sometimes they get like high or sober. I don't know.
And then they feel bad.
And they
about
all
it.
go out in the alley, and you'll head out in the alley, and there's 4 of them like cleaning their shit up, and it's awesome. And now there's a dumpster there, and it's also a giant pile of crap, but
They
they're
got them a bigger
trying,
can.
and it's adorable.
Aw.
That's my story.
That's
Even though they're
Yeah.
not doing that well, they still care about the
Hey,
planet.
I respect effort and. Yeah, I respect effort and some ownership, right? They're like, oh, our mess sucks, and we're going
Right.
to try sometimes to clean it up.
Not much, but it's ours, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't hurt to do a little better.
It's a hill of
That's right.
beans, but it's our hill.
Yeah,
And these
exactly.
are our beans.
And I respect the fuck out of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, don't be breaking my crap and
Yeah.
shit. But I respect the effort and the hustle.
Good job.
You ought to go over there and say something nice to them.
I
one
did.
day.
No, the other day I was driving through and I rolled into it. I'm like, great work, guys. You're killing it. Keep it up.
They might have taken it condescendingly.
I did my best. Did my best to not do that.
I would take it condescendingly.